Hello, my friends. I hope my message finds you well today and taking really good care of yourself and surrounded by people you love, or at least staying connected with them across the distance. I wanted to just take a couple minutes today to talk about some of what I see going on in the world. And some of what I see helps a little bit to deal with that. Whether you're struggling right now with feeling sick from coronavirus, flu, colds, allergies, springtime, whether you're suffering with what's happening economically in the world and to your employment, whether you're suffering with the isolation and the distance that you're feeling with everyone that you care about. There's a lot of suffering going on in the world right now. And whatever your physical health is, a lot of us are struggling spiritually and emotionally and in our hearts right now. So I want to talk a little bit about that sickness because I think that sickness cuts to the very core of our being for most of us right now. At the heart of every human's experience is the wounding of feeling separate and cut off from the source of our own life, feeling like we're distant from ourselves, feeling like we're distant from whatever there is beyond us, feeling like we're cut off from the world in some way. From the very first moment, the First Nations people of this country saw the uh, the colonizers coming over, and they looked and they saw that we weren't breathing. They looked and saw that we weren't connected to the earth anymore, and they wondered, how could we possibly live that way? Well, we live that way by cutting ourselves off from the deep and profound sense of disconnection that we live our whole lives with, that we're floating above the surface of the earth, that we don't really feel connected to each other or ourselves or whatever is beyond us. And we've learned how to numb ourselves out to that sense of disconnection. In the current time we're in, all of our strategies for numbing ourselves out to that disconnection, they don't work so well right now. We're feeling our disconnection from ourselves and each other and from what's beyond and from the earth, and that deep wound inside each one of us where we feel orphaned from life, orphaned from truth, orphaned from anyone who has the power and the wisdom and the willingness to take care of us. We're touching into that wound of feeling separate and alone and orphaned right now, a lot of us. And it's good that we're feeling that because it's not a new wound. But when we look at the news and we see that our medical systems are overwhelmed, we see that our government may not be telling us the truth and doesn't seem to have the clear will to take care of us, when we're disconnected from the people that we would normally reach out to, our spiritual communities, you our own family, we feel that disconnection, we feel that separation, which is at the core of every being. And when we do that, we either go into overdrive on medicating or distracting or blaming or aggressing or imploding, attacking ourselves, judging ourselves. We can get into some pretty dark times. We have a choice, though, in that moment when we feel that wound, the wound we carry at the center of our being, and we can't run from it anymore, and none of our strategies are working to deal with it. We can bring our compassionate awareness to that wound that we carry inside. We can place our hand on wherever we feel the most strongly that wound, and we can speak to that part of us. And we can commit to that part of us that while we have no real power to do anything about any of the situations in the world, we can commit to at least connecting with that part of us and caring for it again, listening to it again. And we can commit to reaching out and getting the relationship, the sacred relationship that we need to take care of that part of ourselves again. If we have the ability to go outside and it's safe to do that and not be around other people too closely, We can get out on the earth. We can put our feet on the earth and connect with it, put our back against a tree. We can connect with the incredible power of life blossoming around us in this springtime and feel how that same life that is making everything burst into bloom is rising up in us too, in the midst of our feelings of disconnection. We can call on whatever spiritual practices will support and nurture and feed our hearts, whether that's davening or meditating or praying or zikr, any or ceremony, whatever we can do that will connect us with something larger and beyond us in our felt sense. Doesn't really even matter what you believe. It matters that there's a felt sense of relationship. We can begin cultivating relationship with ourselves again, with all the parts of us that we have shut down and numbed and distracted from for so long. And we can begin bringing some simple caring and tenderness to our own lives. We can journal. We can spend time in solitude listening. We can play music that stirs feelings in ourselves and let ourselves do that. We can do breath work, meditation, yoga, tending our bodies, whatever is going to take care of this precious animal that is our host for this lifetime. And we can reach out to each other. We can set aside the idea of social distancing and just keep physical distance. We can reach out to each other and make a difference for each other. And we can speak the hard truth, instead of, what are you doing? Well, here's what I'm doing. Oh, I should order that. Maybe that would help. Just to say, I'm scared. Yeah, I'm scared too. I don't know what to do. Yeah, I don't know what to do either. And we can take a breath together and we can be vulnerable and we can be courageous. And above all, we can really feel connected to each other in that moment, not in a place of helplessness and hopelessness, but in a place of surrender, which means just accepting what is and being fully present with it, with our whole emotional bodies, with our awareness and online, doing what we can to take care of ourselves. But we can just be present with what is. And we can turn to every relationship that gives our lives meaning and purpose and connection. And when we do that, that little part of us inside that has carried the wound of disconnection our whole lives can take this time and begin to feel connected again. So that's my prayer for you, is I wish for you sacred connection. I wish for you abundant and flowering relationship, because whatever COVID or any other virus does to these bodies, the spiritual illness, the mental and emotional illness of separation from ourselves and our world, from the spirit, from each other, that wound we can do something about today. And we can make a difference for ourselves and everyone we love. Thank you for listening and have a wonderful day.